don't hear and don't drink or whatever, but you won't hear the movement.
Is soccer physical or mental?
I think it's both. I think it's physical, technical, mental, and spiritual. An argument can be made.
Hi, this is Jahmari Savage with my first guest, Coach Kaneil.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, mic check.
1, 2.
1, 2.
One,
Let's
two,
hope
one,
it
two.
works.
Okay. Kaneil, tell me this. What do you think people have trouble understanding the most in soccer?
I think a lot of people take the game way too serious. It's just a beautiful game. I think there's too much pressure sometimes on young kids. And my emphasis and my direction and how I want the game is to always enjoy, right? Regardless of anything, the kids should remember that. But I think sometimes there's a wrong focus on winning, winning, winning all the time, you know. But at the end of the day, there's life after soccer, you know. So it's important to have fun and live in the moment. So some coaches have, I think, have the wrong emphasis on always winning, 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 winning. 10, 15 years or 20 years later, nobody's going to remember that trophy or medal, you know. But you're going to remember if you had fun. You see what I'm saying?
I agree. What is your biggest failure and what did you learn from that experience?
You know, a lot of people look at me as an inspiration, but is to be on. If I'm being honest with you, I fail a lot, you know. But I try not to let the failures get the best of me. You know, you live and you learn, and you grow from the experience. They always say experience teaches wisdom. I would say in college I fail a lot. In high school I fail a lot. In middle school I fail a lot. But you know, I didn't let those failures get to me. You know, I would say academically, I have failed a lot. But I always say you can. I always say it's easy to start anything, right? It's easy to fail, but as long as you keep working and you keep trying to get over the fail. One of the quote that I've been saying all week is that you haven't lived until you fail, right? So I use failure as motivation. Being here, I have failed, right? Because I was struggling to get kids to come train with me in Florida, but now I've succeeded, right? We trained 12 kids this morning.
Yeah.
So it's not so much the failure, but it's like, you know, you use the failure to better the experience next time. And even if I fail again, I'll try again.
That's very inspiring. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's an insult you've received that you're proud of?
Hold up. Okay. Uh, when I just started the business, a lot of people labeled me as a track kid. They didn't know my resume playing for Jamaica, you know, but I took it on the chin, you know, and I used it to drive me. It was an insult because I think they judge me based on what they think I am, you know, but I've overcome it by showing them 4 years after, 5 years after, I can do a successful business, you know. So I guess that would be an insult, you know.
Well, honestly, I would be proud of that too. So I think that's very um encouraging for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't listen to what people say. As long as you believe in you, that's what matters.
Yeah. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would tell myself like to relax and it's gonna be okay, and just to be in the moment, not to worry, because tomorrow's not a guarantee. Tomorrow's not promised to no man. Um, Sometimes I think I stressed about the wrong things and wonder if I'm gonna fulfill my dreams. Because if I look back, like 18-year-old me, I would never envision all the accomplishments I make now. So looking back, I would tell myself just to relax. It's gonna be okay. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if I could tell my 5-year-old self that, I would. I definitely would. tell me about the 3 most influential people in your life and how did they impact your soccer career?
I don't think I can think of 3 off the top, but the first 2 that comes to my head is my parents. I think I owe everything to them. When I was a kid, they will drive all the way all over the country to get me tournaments, to get me team practice. I live 2 hours from the national team training, and my parents would drive me every day, 2 hours for training. So not only on a not only on a soccer scale, but in terms of I know my parents made a lot of sacrifices for me to put me in this position. So the last book I wrote was actually called Sacrifice, and my parents made a lot of sacrifices for me. So I said they're the 2 most influential people in my life, and I'll forever grateful for my parents. I always say that I pray to God that He put me in a position in order for me to give back to my parents because they are everything to me. So I would say the 2 most influential people in my life is my parents.
Yeah, okay. Well, my parents are influential.
I should think so.
Well, if you could have lunch with any soccer historical figure, who would you choose?
Oh, lunch with a soccer historical figure? I would have to go with a Brazilian. I would have to go with Pele.
I respect that. I really respect that.
I would have to go with Pele just
Yeah.
to pick his brain and because
Yeah.
everybody he's a legend in my eyes.
Yeah.
And I love Brazilians, and I think I would want to sit down and have a talk with him, pick his brain, and learn about him a little bit. And yeah, so definitely with Pele, I would say Pele.
Yeah, that's a really smart decision. Yeah. Okay.
Dead right now.
How does a player get better? What development would you recommend?
First, the player has to believe in himself. In anything, you have to believe in yourself, and there has to be a level of consistency. You can't get better overnight. There's a saying, Rome wasn't built in one day, right? So over time, through hard work and determination and a level of consistency, I think if you truly want something, if you truly want something, I think you'll get it. But only if you truly, right? I'm a firm believer of God, right? Put God first, work hard every day, right? And especially work hard during uncomfortable circumstances, So if you have a goal, right? I want you to put your mind to it and tell yourself you can do it regardless of the roadblocks ahead of you. In terms of development, I feel like the game is really simple. I think some coaches really overthink the game, or some kids overthink the game. The game is really simple, but sometimes it's difficult to play simple. But and let me hit it on the hammer. As long as you believe in yourself, you work hard every day, and there's a level of consistency, and you truly believe in yourself, I think you could get anything you want, and you should dream big. All right, dream big. Your dreams should scare you.
Yeah, that's very inspirational. Well, is soccer physical or mental?
I think it's both. I think it's physical, technical, mental, and spiritual. An argument can be made, And I think the most important one is mental, because you have to be mentally in the right place for all others to work, right? You can be physically fit and technically good, but if your mind is not in the right place, then you look as an average player. You know what I mean? But if you are mentally in the right place, the technical aspect, the physical aspect have a chance to grow.
Well, yeah, I agree. So here's another one. What's one thing about soccer that almost no one agrees with you about?
That's a hard one.
There are like 50 questions in here, so I don't blame you.
That's a hard one. No one agrees with me about. it would be irresponsible of me to say everybody, because I think that's a huge fear. But I think I would say some people. Then some people. The way I got better is, as a kid, I usually play with older kids, and I grew at a rapid rate, right? So when I went amongst my own peers, it was easy for me. But some people don't believe in that, right? Some parents believe that the kids should actually play with their age group, So I would say that would be one thing. Fair
Yeah.
enough?
Yeah. Well, so what's one lesson soccer has taught you that you think everyone should learn at one point in their life?
I always say what I do is, this is a good one for me, because I always say what I do is not really about soccer. It's about life lessons through soccer. Soccer has taught me respect, never giving up. Not only respect for your teammates, but respect for your coaches. It has taught me hard work, determination, perseverance. I could go on and on. But also, this is soccer made me travel the world. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So who's been your most important professional mentor?
Well, I think this goes back to my dad, because my dad is also a coach. When I initially started the business, he was my mentor. He was helping me with creating the drills, like organizing how you coach. So a lot of credit goes towards my dad. I would say my dad is my main mentor. He's also a soccer coach and also a track coach. So a lot of things I get from him. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I would say I would give my credit to my dad for that.
Yeah. Well, I agree because dads could be um well, they could be fun to have around or they could just be someone who doesn't really care. So I
Yeah.
think that's very good. Where can listeners find you online?
Okay. Mainly, I would say Instagram is Kanelco One on One Soccer, Kanelco One on One Soccer.
Okay. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting out in soccer?
One piece of advice, I would say, to give it your best shot. Don't be scared, and have a good attitude, and have the ability to listen to your coaches.
Yeah. What's one question you wish I'd asked you and how would you have answered?
Uh, One question I wish you had asked me is, how do I view life? Because then you can get my response on not only soccer, but what do I think of life? Because I always say there's life out of soccer. So
Yeah.
one question I would have loved to be asked is, how do I view life? And to answer that question, I always say that I could give you a little. I'll leave you with this. I always say a tiger has malicious intent towards its prey. A mother has conscious love towards her seed. I love both the tiger and the mother. I would say do not have the capacity to hate, because when you hate, you become a different person, right? So I would say live your life with love each day. Everybody you meet, because nothing is a guarantee, as I said before, right? This moment right here, you give it your best, because you never know, you'll never get it back. So live a life with love, okay?
Yeah. Okay. What are three movies you'd recommend to my audience and why?
Three movies. All right. The first one I would say is, so as a kid, I lost my house to a hurricane. So I love Hurricane Season is by Forrest Whitaker. It's a basketball movie, a very inspirational movie. So that's number one. Number two, let me think. Okay, so I'm kind of weird, but in a good way. I love movies that has to deal with the mind. So I would say number two is Will Smith. I think it's called Collateral Beauty. Number two, and the third one I would say is soccer movie Goal, inspirational. It's by Santiago Munez, the character in it. It's called Goal. You should watch that movie. Have you ever watched that movie? It's
No.
2 hours and 35 minutes. It shows how a young Spanish kid had nothing and made it to the pros to Newcastle. Then eventually in Goal 2, he transferred to Real Madrid. That's a movie you should watch. Soccer movie. It's
Yeah.
called Goal.
One more question for you.
Okay.
How do you think your coaching career is going so far?
I would say very good, but we don't get complacent. There's always a new level to be unlocked.
Yeah.
Always a new. I'm very determined, right? Never get complacent. I'm very proud of myself, But I think this business can blow up even. I think God is going to blow my mind.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Coach Kaneil. I would classify myself as a superhero. I change lives day and night. But seriously, I think a big part of my identity is I am Jamaican. As you can see in the logo, we rep Jamaica. And in Jamaica, we have an esoteric culture, meaning that you have to live it to understand it. And as Jamaican, I'm very passionate about everything I do. I'm a passionate coach. Okay? That's me, Kaneil Harrison.
That's a wrap.